stall them. Soto stressed that the president wants these proposals, along with other proposed bills, to be expedited. In other congressional news, the Makabayan bloc will refile today its impeachment complaint against Marcos. The bloc hit a snag last week when its complaint was not deemed submitted due to House Secretary General Cheloy Garafil's absence. Garafil was in Taiwan to receive an award. And the headlines from around the globe. In Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney makes it clear that Ottawa has no plans to pursue a trade deal with Beijing. It's a response to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat of slapping a 100% tariff on Canadian goods if Canada strikes a deal with China. Carney has made blistering remarks against Trump last week without mentioning his name. The Prime Minister urged middle powers to band together in the face of economic coercion by greater powers, and he declared that, quote, Canada doesn't live because of the United States. In India, the Modi administration has agreed to cut tariffs on cars imported from the European Union from 110% to just 40%. Sources tell Reuters that the tax reduction will apply to vehicles with an import price of 15,000 euros and more. Lower tariffs on automobiles seals what's been dubbed as the mother of all deals, with India and the U.S. closing in on a free trade pact that could come as early as Tuesday. And in the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV warns of AI's ability to usurp human identities and deepen polarization. Leo on Saturday used his first message, marking the World Day of Social Communications, to remind the faithful of the challenge to protect the human identity and authentic relationships in the age of AI. The pontiff laments that AI systems are being controlled by a small number of companies, increasingly blurring the lines between reality and simulation. You're watching Money Talks. Coming up. Teaching healthy snacking to price-conscious Filipino consumers. A conversation on Startup and Beyond with Alme Gaoi, founder and CEO of Oso Healthy Corporation, gold winner of the 2026 Sophie Awards for Savory Snacks in San Diego, California. Keep it here on One News. I know the one that we talked about. How do you feel?
Oh, okay.
Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. A look at the markets. Friday session ended quietly for U.S. stocks, with the Nasdaq rising by over 0.25% and the S&P 500 climbing by less than 0.1%. The Dow fell over 0.5%, weighed down by drops in Goldman Sachs, Caterpillar, and American Express. The benchmark 10-year Treasury yields ticked down to 4.236%. While gold prices inch closer to the $5,000 mark, hitting another record high at $4,976 per ounce. U.S. futures fall ahead of key economic releases in the Fed's policy meeting. The Nasdaq is down by 0.4%, S&P slides by over 0.25%, and the Dow declines by 0.1%. As for Asian markets, they're mixed at the get-go on Monday as investors assess geopolitical developments. South Korea's Kospi is up by 0.25%, Japan's Nikkei 225 is down by over 1.5%, and Australia's ASX 200 is closed in observation of Australia Day. Let's take a look at our own markets on the first day of a brand new trading week. PSEI opens this Monday higher, 6,346, up 0.2%. The local bourse tumbled last Friday by 1% as investors took profits from Thursday's sharp gains, indicating near-term consolidation and a more defensive investor stance. Analysts expect the stock market to move sideways, with Thursday's GDP announcement serving as a potential catalyst. As for the Philippine peso, it opens today strong and stronger at 58.97 to the dollar. Peso strengthened on Friday by 7 centavos to close at 59.09 against the greenback. Traders are optimistic the local unit will return to the 58 peso level as it has just a few moments ago at the open ahead of that GDP release. 10-year government bond yields ticked down to 6.064% from the previous close of 6.07%. She is the founder and CEO of Oh So Healthy Corporation, the first Filipino brand to win gold at the 2026 Sophie Awards, the Oscars of Food in San Diego, California.
Oh So Healthy.
Osh's kimchi-based crisps not only won the palate of jurors, the product has also landed at select Costco branches in the U.S. since mid this month. Well, with us now for more is Alme Gaoi. It's good to see you, Alme. Welcome to the program and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
How does it feel like winning then, the Sophie Awards?
I'm still in disbelief. It's been an incredible moment. The journey is something that we never expected. When we submitted our entry, there's about 1,700 against the brand. So when we thought we made it to the finalist, that was good enough, really. When we attended the awards ceremony, I had the expectation that they might award it to a U.S. Brand.
But they awarded it to a Filipino brand.
I know, so...
that marketed kimchi.
I know,
Why kimchi of all ingredients?
I'm glad you asked that. Kimchi can be intimidating, I think, given that it's cabbage. It's also fermented. It can have that acquired taste. So we thought, it would be great to redefine something that people might not want to try. And clearly, it's a healthy product. It contains a lot of probiotics. So we thought by making it more creative and trendy and making it crispy, really crunchy, that will make it more accessible.
Well, also clearly difficult to please all. I mean, I've looked at the online reviews. There's a clear split between the fans who like the bold flavor of that vegetable, kimchi. They say it's like fresh kimchi out of the jar, baked. Mm-hmm. And I did try it over the weekend. I bought a bag, and there is that kick at the end of fresh kimchi coming out. And there are those who find it too unusual, sour, and pricey. How are you addressing those split views?
I think you cannot please everybody. I'm happy that the judges recognized the creativity and ingenuity of creating something that's cabbage format and turning it into something revolutionary and then making it crispy. Sourness, I think when you ask that question, I think there's always that, familiar, if you're familiar with something, then you tend to gravitate towards it, right? So hopefully by creating something in this format, more people are willing to try the product.
Beyond kimchi, you've come up with fruit and vegetable crisps with other pairings, and it's interesting that you've got indigenous fruit pairings. You've got a lot of banana. Purple yam, ube,
right.
kamote, and manga.
Right. So when we first came out with the products, the three SKUs was mango, coconut, and guava. We really wanted to focus on local ingredients. In fact, when I first started the company, I wanted to support purely all local business enterprise, including packaging. It was really the cost of doing something for the Filipinos. Over time, as you know, like as you mentioned, how do you keep up with the rising prices? It gets challenging. Then we have to like be open to sourcing packaging materials, for example, in China. But if we can, I still want everything bought from the Philippines, just to keep the economy going and just
Right. It's interesting because you mentioned packaging, you import it, so you are part importer and exporter as well. Because right now your products have landed, well, at least for the kimchi crisps, they landed in Costco's clubs and in other countries, not only in the U.S. There's Canada, Australia, there's Singapore, Dubai.
Right.
You're now all over the place, so it's good that the peso's weak. But then when you come here to the local market, you're looking at costs, the import costs as well, and also the ability of the farming communities that you're supporting to provide stably to assure market out there and here.
We're happy that we have export. I think it negates, the cost. But the ripple effect, of course, of peso depreciating can be felt in many ways. I think the rising cost, inflation. But I'm pleased that we have a way to negate that.
Well, is there a line in the sand for you? Like the peso shouldn't depreciate more than 60 or something?
Oh, I still hope it goes back to 57, even if we're exporting. And for many reasons, for equipment, there's more challenges, I think, in terms of food supply. We buy a lot of ingredients also, like not just for also healthy, but for my own people, community. It would be better if the peso is more stable and strong.
So it's 57, that's the sweet spot for
Sure.
yourself as an entrepreneur and for the farming communities that you're helping.
Right.
So how are the margins looking right now with the peso at near 59? I mean, we've just gone below 59, but we're around that area.
We have to sacrifice in terms of profitability and margins. And I think our focus is always integrity of the brand. We do not want to take any shortcuts. And I think most of the manufacturers are always challenged by that. As the cost becomes more expensive, you have a tendency to want to reduce cost in any way. Cathy, if I can just share, 1 kilogram of mangoes, for example, that's maybe 350 pesos for 1 kilo. And the product, ours is drying, the methodology, right? So we take out all the water and the moisture. So like that 1 kilo becomes like 30% only, and yet we have to charge you at the 350 rate, right? So how will the consumers accept that? And we do not want to cheat our consumers by playing, shortcuts and replacing that with other fillers.
All
because,
right.
yeah.
Okay, so that's the methodology, but how does it come to the consumer then in terms of pricing? Because there's been a bit of complaint on being pricey because it's marketed as healthy. You do dehydrate those fruits. What's the perfect pricing point then for the Philippine market, and how does that differ to say, the American consumers?
Yeah, I think for the Philippine market, we are still a little bit on the more expensive price point. The goal is to reach everybody to make it acceptable in terms of price. That's when I say, FMCG, fast-moving consumer good, it's always about price, right? So now our product is only positioned as a niche product because it's not affordable. But our goal and our objective is to make it available to all. Hopefully, over time, when there's more volume internationally, we can mitigate that.
So the availability is coming to be here in the local market, but it's coming at a time the economy is slowing, consumer sentiment is tepid, all because of what's gone on with the flood control programs, the governance issues. How are you now faced with a business that might also be slowing locally in 2026?
I hope we're not distracted by that. I think the team, we have a very small team. We're considered actually as a startup. Also Healthy Corporation is only like a 20 team member. It's not like the likes of the MNCs, but our core value, if I can share, is heart, happy and healthy, excellence, accountability, respect, and teamwork, heart. And I strongly believe that we're guided by those principles. And if we just work with that, we can take it to the next level.
And that next level is the export market. You've just made a mention. It's good that you have that exposure. Which other markets then? I mean, you've gone to the US, you've gone to other G7 nations.
We're bullish about conquering Australia this year, but focus is still North America. There's many countries, but to grow it in the North America, Canada, and the US is.
Yeah, but if you say North America, then you're facing 19% tariffs. Trump will be charging you at the port of entry. How's that coming along now?
So
how are you feeling that tax?
In order for us to get to Costco, it took us about a year. So when we were working with the distributor who's bringing it in, the price was different as opposed to when the tariffs was placed. So clearly, the distributor also encountered some setback, and we have to find a sweet spot to mitigate and negotiate with the buyer as well.
So what's the sweet spot then? American market?
It's currently being sold in Costco at $13.49, which makes it one pack is about $2.25. We think that because it's a unique positioning, it's a different product, there's nothing out there that's quite like it, that we can still command that range. Let's see, we're so new in Costco. We just got in this January. Hopefully all the Filipinos will support, not just the Filipinos.
Just Filipinos? I mean, what are you seeing from the shelves? I mean, is it going off the shelves and who's buying?
We were placed 2 weeks ago in Costco. This is placed in Northwest region. And who's buying, that's our data. We're tracking it right now to understand who are the consumers and how they're using the product. And I think that's the only way that we can really scale and grow, by understanding our consumers more.
Just final point, are you going to be adding more jobs here in the Philippines?
We would love to. We would love to grow the team.
But will you be?
We are, because right now, we're really expanding, but with more intention. I think the goal is to grow, with international and local married together.
All right. Well,
yes.
I wish you well in that marriage. Thank you so much, Alme. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Alme Gaoi of also Healthy Corporation. And before we go, in sports, Filipino tennis star Alex Ayala set to make her first official WTA appearance in Philippine soil today as she opens her campaign in the inaugural Philippine Women's Open at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. A sold-out home crowd is expected to watch the 20-year-old, who is seeded second in the WTA 125 tournament, face Russia's Alina Chareva in the first round. Ayala said her main focus is playing at home and highlighting the presence of more Filipino players in the main draw. All the best, Alex. That is it for Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Catch us again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a great day ahead.